y'all, this is Anna Alexander, and this is Dish About the Dish, where the foods we eat tell the stories of our lives. And we are smack dab now in the holiday cooking season. And if you're like me, you go to your family recipe book, pull it out, and you make those favorites. Well, if you don't have a family recipe book, or you're looking for something new on a traditional dish, I'm going to share with you today a recipe for leek and pine nut dressing. I always want to say leek and pine nut stuffing. Technically it's a dressing because it's not going inside of the bird. Interchangeable. It's bread, savory, vegetable-y goodness, and I cannot wait to share it with you today. So let's go. So this recipe came to me by way of my ex-grandmother-in-law. She would make this every holiday dish. I started to make it as a side dish and my family loves it, and now that's all. They want me to bring the turkey and they also want me to bring this dressing every time, even if it's not a holiday, because it's just that good. It's simple, warming, savory, all the best things you want as a holiday dish, side dish. And it's got a few simple ingredients, so like always, we start with our mise en place. So as I said, it's a few simple ingredients. I got a couple of stalks of celery cut medium-ish. You don't want it too thin and mushy, but you also don't want a big hunk of celery in your mouth. I've got either a large leek or a couple small leeks, a good handful or two of leeks sliced thinly, and then I've got a big onion. And this recipe is really easy to scale up or scale down. You want a good balance of ingredients, so whatever you want, how much you want to make, just make it balanced out. So now we just put things in a pot and start assembling. I do have a Dutch oven. You don't have to use a Dutch oven to make this. I'm traveling with this dish when I'm done, so a Dutch oven just makes it more easy. But just use a big pot, something you can put a lid on and you're good to go. So we're gonna start with an unhealthy amount of butter, at least a stick, if not two. Woo! It's a hot pot. I'm gonna burn my flesh on. Okay. And then we're gonna add all of our vegetables. It smells so good. And then to this, we're gonna add a generous pinches of salt, because you need the salt. I'm gonna let this get all nice and wilty. And then once this gets all nice and wilty, you're going to add cream of leek soup. This is what makes me think this recipe started in like the 70s or 80s when these powdered soup mixes were really popular. And oddly enough, cream of leek is the hardest one for me to find. I used to find it at my local grocery store, no problem. And then about 5-6 years ago, it disappeared. And every once in a while, I'll be at a smaller chain grocery store and I'd find it, and I couldn't. So look around, you may have to order online. Actually, I found this brand at Cost Plus, just per chance. So I scooped about 10 of them, just so I'd always have a packet of this on hand. So our vegetables are all wilty now, and they smell so good. I'm gonna add my soup mix, give it a stir, and now I'm gonna turn my heat down. I do not need it this hot anymore. Now I'm gonna add my dried breadcrumbs. You can make your own, go right ahead, pick up a bunch at the store, doesn't really matter. We do not need the provided seasoning, thank you so much, we got our own. And as you know, if you've done this before, you know, you never know how much breadcrumbs you need because they absorb and they get smushy and they get smaller. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay. And then to this, we're going to add our chicken stock. I start off with one, make sure it's nice and moist. You never know how much liquid your cubes are going to absorb. So always have 1 or 2 of these extra on hand. Make sure you got all the good stuff that's stuck to the bottom. So this is a good ratio right here. However, the best part about this dish is the leftovers. So I'm actually going to add more breadcrumbs just to fill it out a little bit more. And I have enough of the vegetables that more breadcrumbs, it can use more breadcrumbs. So I've got a good ratio of bread cubes to vegetables, and you want it wet. You want it a little bit on the soggy side because we are going to bake this for at least 30 minutes. So the last ingredient we're going to add to our leek and pine nut dressing are the pine nuts. However, pine nuts are not required. And I actually have family members, my mother, who cannot have nuts or seeds. If you have people in your family who cannot have a pine nut, take some out now, put it in a separate dish. It'll still be delicious. And you're gonna add about a handful or so of pine nuts. And pine nuts are one of those ingredients that are stupid expensive. So I always, if I can, buy it in bulk because then I can buy just exactly how much I need. If you cannot find it in bulk, do the best you can. I think this package was about $15 to $18. I do make pesto quite often, so I'll use it up. But yeah, I don't know why it's so expensive. Go. Another great thing about this recipe is you can substitute out vegetable stock for the chicken stock, vegan butter, and go totally vegan with us. So now that we're all mixed, ready to go, told you it was really easy. We're gonna put it into a preheated 350-ish oven for about half an hour. It's done. OMG, that is so heavy. Whew, that's a workout and a half. But here we have our finished product. Ooh, we have our vegetables, we have our bread cubes, pine nuts, delightful. It smells so good. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a taste test, although it is fry your flesh hot. It's so hot right now. There we go. Creamy, moist, just a little bit savory. It's not too savory. Oh, had a little bit of cranberry sauce on the side. This would be perfect. And here's one last tip for you. If you're in the house where you are budgeting your oven time, this can be made ahead of time and then warm it up at the end. If you find out that it's a little bit on the dry side than you like it, just do the Bobby Flay trick and put a little ladle or two of warm chicken stock over the top, let it seep in, and it'll moisten right up. And again, as I said, leftovers are the best. And so there you have it. So here we have it, our leek and pine nut stuffing. I'm so grateful that you joined me today and that you've been on this journey with me for this whole last year. I do appreciate all the time that you have to spend with me, and I can't wait to see you again sometime soon. So until next time, y'all, happy holidays.